Your attention is being stolen, and most people don't even realize it. Every ping, every notification, every endless scroll isn't just harmless entertainment, it's a direct attack on your focus. And here's the terrifying truth. In the digital age, distraction is no longer a minor inconvenience. It's a weapon, one that costs you time, ambition, and ultimately your future. Think about it. How many times have you opened your phone for just one quick check and 30 minutes vanish? How often do you start working on something important only to find yourself pulled into an endless loop of scrolling, clicking, or binging? This isn't an accident, it's by design. The apps, the feeds, the alerts, they're engineered to keep you hooked. Not because they care about you, but because your attention is the product they sell. And here's the real danger. Distraction doesn't just waste minutes. It rewires your brain. It shortens your attention span. It makes deep work, the kind of work that actually builds your future, feel impossible. But here's the good news. If distraction is the disease of our time, focus is the cure. In a world where everyone is addicted to noise, the ability to stay focused has become the ultimate superpower. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build what I call the focus mindset, the ability to control your attention, resist digital overload, and channel your energy into the things that actually move your life forward. Because let's be honest, it's not a lack of talent holding most people back. It's not even a lack of effort. It's the constant leaking of attention, the death by 1,000 distractions. So if you've ever felt like you can't focus anymore, if you've ever caught yourself drowning in notifications and noise, then this video is your wake-up call. Because here's the truth. The people who learn to master focus will dominate the future, and the people who don't, they'll spend their lives as slaves to the scroll. If you've ever wondered why it feels impossible to focus these days, the answer is simple. Your brain is being hacked. And I don't mean hacked in the sci-fi sense. I mean hacked by apps, algorithms, and platforms that are designed to exploit the very biology that kept your ancestors alive. The dopamine trap, here's how it works. Every time you see a new notification, a funny video, or a fresh post, your brain releases a little hit of dopamine. That's the brain's reward chemical. It makes you feel good, even if nothing meaningful just happened. Now here's the kicker. Your brain isn't addicted to the reward. It's addicted to the anticipation of the reward. That's why scrolling feels endless. Every swipe, every click is your brain whispering, maybe the next one will be even better. It's the same mechanism slot machines use in casinos. That's not a coincidence. Social media feeds were literally designed to work like slot machines, unpredictable, variable rewards that keep you hooked. The novelty bias. But dopamine is only half the story. The other half is what scientists call the novelty bias. For most of human history, noticing something new was a matter of survival. If there was movement in the bushes, your ancestors had to check. It could mean food or it could mean danger. Ignoring novelty could mean death. Today, that same survival wiring makes you crave the newest tweet, the latest notification, the breaking headline. Your brain sees novelty as essential, even when it's just a meme or a meaningless update. Why your phone is a slot machine. Put dopamine and novelty together and here's what you get. Your phone is basically a casino in your pocket. Every notification is a flashing light. Every swipe is a pull of the lever. Every ding is another chance at a reward. And just like a casino, the system is rigged. Not for you to win, but for you to stay, to keep coming back, to keep feeding the machine with your attention. The real cost of distraction. And here's why that matters. Distraction isn't just a harmless bad habit. It's a neurological loop that rewires your brain. The more you chase dopamine hits, the harder it becomes to sit with boredom. The more you crave novelty, the harder it becomes to stay with one deep task. And the more you surrender your focus, the more you weaken the very muscle that controls it. This is why deep work feels painful now, why reading a book feels impossible, why 5 minutes of silence feels unbearable. It's not because you're lazy or broken, it's because your brain has been conditioned to expect constant stimulation. The wake-up call. But here's the thing. Once you understand the science, you can fight back. Because the truth is, distraction isn't stronger than you, it's just smarter at exploiting your wiring, and the same brain that gets hooked can also be retrained. The first step is awareness, seeing distraction for what it really is, a biological hack that steals your future one notification at a time. And once you know how the game works, you can finally start playing to win. We've seen how distraction hijacks your brain. But here's the part most people underestimate. The cost of distraction isn't just minutes lost, it's entire futures wasted. Every time you give into the scroll, every time you chase the next notification, every time you break focus, you're not just wasting time, you're paying with your potential. 1. Productivity loss, the myth of multitasking. Let's start with productivity. Most people believe they can multitask. They think, I can work on my project while checking my messages, replying to emails, and keeping an eye on my feed. But science says otherwise. Studies show that every time you switch tasks, your brain suffers a switching cost. It can take up to 20 minutes to fully refocus after a single interruption. That means a 5-second glance at your phone doesn't just steal 5 seconds, it can steal your entire flow state. Now imagine how many times you check your phone in a day. Imagine how many hours of focus are lost, not to big distractions, but to tiny ones stacked over and over again. That's why multitasking isn't efficiency, it's death by 1,000 cuts. 2. Creativity drain, shallow versus deep work. The second cost is creativity. Great ideas don't come from shallow thinking. They come from deep work. Uninterrupted stretches of focus where your mind can connect dots, process deeply, and create something new. But here's the problem. Distraction keeps you in shallow mode. The constant interruptions prevent you from diving deep. And without depth, there is no brilliance. Think about it. The book that changes lives, the invention that changes industries, the art that moves generations, none of it was created by someone constantly checking their phone. It was created by people who could stay focused long enough to let genius emerge. And that's what distraction steals from you, not just time, but the chance to create at your highest level. 3. Long-term damage, training your brain to be weak. The third cost is long-term, and it's the most dangerous. Every time you give in to distraction, you're not just losing focus in the moment, you're training your brain to expect it. You're teaching your nervous system that boredom is unbearable, that silence must be filled, that focus is optional. And over time, this training weakens your willpower, it shortens your attention span. It makes every task feel harder because your brain has forgotten how to sit still and work deeply. That's why people say, I just can't focus anymore. It's not a mystery, it's conditioning. Years of micro-distractions have rewired the brain to avoid the very thing that produces success. The real price of distraction. So let's put it all together. Distraction kills your productivity through constant context switching. Distraction kills your creativity by locking you in shallow mode. Distraction kills your mental strength by rewiring your brain for weakness. And the result? A life spent busy but not productive. A life full of noise but empty of depth. A life where the future you dream of is stolen, one notification at a time. The wake-up call. But here's the silver lining. Just as distraction trains weakness, focus trains strength. Every time you resist the scroll, every time you choose depth over noise, you're not just saving time, you're building a mind that's sharper, stronger, and harder to shake. Because distraction doesn't just steal hours, it steals futures. And the only way to reclaim yours is to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. So if distraction is the enemy, what's the weapon? It's not more hours in the day, it's not even better time management. The real weapon is attention management. Because here's the truth, success doesn't belong to the people who work the longest, it belongs to the people who can focus the deepest. Attention is the new currency. In the digital age, your attention is your most valuable resource. Companies fight for it. Algorithms are designed to steal it. And every notification that pops up on your screen is a bid for your mind. But here's the shift most people never make. You don't have to spend your attention, you can invest it. Every time you lock into deep work, you're investing your attention into something that compounds, learning, creating, building. These are attention investments. Every time you let distraction win, you're spending your attention on something that vanishes instantly. The focus mindset is about treating your attention like wealth, protecting it, multiplying it, and refusing to waste it on cheap thrills. Focus equals choosing what to ignore. Most people think focus is about saying yes to one thing, but real focus is about saying no to 1,000 things. Think of it like a spotlight. You can shine it everywhere and light up nothing, or you can aim it at one target and burn through steel. The focus mindset is about ruthless elimination. It's asking yourself, what am I willing to ignore so I can give my best energy to what matters most? Because here's the truth, you don't lose focus because you're weak. You lose focus because you're surrounded by too many options. And once you start cutting them down, focus becomes natural. Building mental toughness through focus. Here's the hidden power. Focus isn't just about productivity, it's about toughness. Every time you resist a distraction, you're not just getting work done, you're training your mind to obey you, not the algorithm. That's mental toughness. It's the ability to sit in silence while the world screams for your attention. It's the strength to choose boredom over quick thrills, depth over dopamine, growth over noise. And that toughness doesn't just make you more productive, it makes you unshakable. While everyone else is pulled in 1,000 directions, you stand grounded. While they scatter, you build. While they chase noise, you create signal. The superpower of the future. Here's what most people don't realize. In the future, focus will be the rarest skill. Talent is everywhere. Tools are everywhere. Knowledge is everywhere. But the ability to sit down, shut out the noise, and focus deeply, that's disappearing. Which means the people who master it will have an edge that's almost unfair, because in a distracted world, the focused person dominates. The takeaway. So here's the mindset shift. Stop trying to manage your time. Start managing your attention. Treat your focus like currency. Choose what to ignore. Build mental toughness by resisting distractions. And remember this, in the digital age, focus isn't just productivity, it's power. Because while everyone else is spending their attention on noise, you'll be investing yours in building a future they can't even imagine. This script redefines focus as attention management, not time management, uses sticky analogies, spotlight, attention as currency, elevates focus into mental toughness plus future superpower, ends with a memorable call. Focus equals power. So we've talked about distraction as the enemy and focus as the weapon, but let's be real, it's not enough to know this. You need tools, you need systems, you need practices that train your brain to resist noise and lock in. Here are 4 powerful tools you can start using today: digital fasting, deep work blocks, environment design, and micro-focus reps. 1. Digital fasting, training the brain to detach. A digital fast is exactly what it sounds like. Intentional time away from screens, apps, and notifications. It doesn't have to be extreme. Start small, turn your phone off for 30 minutes a day, or go for a walk without music or podcasts, or make your first hour in the morning completely tech-free. Why does this work? Because every fast is a reset. You're proving to your brain that it doesn't need constant stimulation to survive, that silence and boredom aren't dangerous. And here's the best part. The longer you practice digital fasting, the easier it becomes to focus when you need to, because your mind remembers what it feels like to be free. 2. Deep work blocks, protecting your best energy. The second tool is creating deep work blocks. This means setting aside specific, non-negotiable windows of time for pure focus. No phones, no multitasking, no interruptions, just one important task. The key is to guard these blocks like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Your future is built in these hours. Start with 25 minutes if you have to, then build up to 60 or 90. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. The more deep work blocks you stack, the more momentum you create. And here's the kicker, Most people underestimate how much they can achieve in 2 hours of deep, undistracted work. It's often more than 10 hours of shallow, interrupted effort. Third tool is about designing your environment to support your focus. Because, let's be honest, willpower alone is fragile. If your phone is buzzing on the desk, if your social feeds are one click away, if your workspace is cluttered, you're setting yourself up to fail. Environment design is about flipping that. Put your phone in another room while you work. Use website blockers to cut off distractions. Keep your workspace clean and simple. Surround yourself with cues that say, "Focus lives here." When you make focus the default option, you don't have to fight as hard. You're not relying on brute force, you're relying on design. 4. Micro-focus reps, training concentration like a muscle. Finally, we have micro-focus reps. Think of these like push-ups for your attention. Instead of expecting yourself to go from zero focus to 3 hours of deep work, you build up gradually. Set a timer for 10 minutes, pick one task, go all in until the timer ends, then take a short break, repeat, add time as you improve. This works because focus is a muscle. You wouldn't walk into a gym and try to bench 300 pounds on your first day. You'd start small and build up. The same goes for your attention. Over time, micro-focus reps increase your mental endurance. What felt impossible, an hour of distraction-free work, starts to feel natural. The hidden benefit? Confidence. Here's something most people don't realize. Every time you use these tools, you're not just protecting your focus, you're building confidence. You're proving to yourself, I can control my attention, I can resist distraction, I can go deep. And that belief is powerful. Because once you believe you can focus, you start aiming higher. You take on bigger projects, you push for deeper growth. You move from surviving in a distracted world to thriving in it. The takeaway. So let's recap. Digital fasting retrains your brain to live without constant stimulation. Deep work blocks protect your best energy for what matters most. Environment design makes focus the default instead of the exception. Micro-focus reps strengthen your attention one set at a time. These are not just hacks, they're training methods for the mind. And the more you use them, the stronger your focus mindset becomes. Because distraction isn't going anywhere, the digital world will only get louder. But with the right tools, you don't have to live as its victim. You can train your mind to cut through the noise and lock onto what matters. And once you do, you'll realize something powerful. Focus isn't just a skill, it's freedom. We've talked about tools and tactics. But here's the truth. Lasting focus doesn't come from hacks. It comes from identity. Because willpower will fail you, tricks will fade. But identity lasts. Focus as identity. Think about it. A person who says, "I'm trying not to be distracted," is already fighting a losing battle. Their identity is still tied to distraction. But a person who says, "I'm the kind of person who values attention. I'm the kind of person who protects my focus. I'm the kind of person who chooses depth over noise," that person isn't fighting. They've already decided who they are. And once focus becomes part of your identity, it doesn't feel like a chore anymore. It feels like alignment. You're not struggling to force yourself into concentration. You're simply living as who you've chosen to be. The power of self-talk. This is where self-talk comes in. Every time you resist distraction, whether it's ignoring a notification, finishing a work block, or choosing silence over noise, reinforce it. Tell yourself, every time I focus, I'm proving to myself I'm in control. Every time I resist, I'm becoming the type of person who owns their attention. Because your brain is always listening, and the more you repeat that identity, the stronger it becomes. Votes for the future self. Think of it this way. Every focus moment is a vote. When you put your phone away during deep work, you're casting a vote for "I am disciplined." When you choose reading over scrolling, you're casting a vote for "I am focused." When you finish the task instead of chasing distractions, you're casting a vote for "I am resilient." No single vote defines you, but over time, the ballots add up. And soon your identity shifts. You're no longer someone trying to focus. You've become someone who is focused. Why identity beats willpower. Here's why this matters. Willpower is like fuel in a tank. It runs out. But identity is like gravity. It pulls you toward alignment again and again. When you see yourself as a focused person, distraction stops feeling tempting. It feels out of character. And staying on task feels natural. That's the real win. Self-control that doesn't feel forced because it's baked into who you are. Anchoring your focus identity. So how do you build this identity? Claim it. Start saying, I am the type of person who controls my focus. Prove it. Use the tools, fasting, deep work, environment design, as daily evidence. Reinforce it. Every time you succeed, repeat to yourself, this is who I am. The more you claim, prove, and reinforce, the faster the shift happens. And once it does, distraction loses its grip. The big picture. In the digital age, most people see themselves as victims of distraction. They believe, I just can't focus anymore. But that's not biology, that's identity, and identity can change. If you start telling yourself, I am someone who protects my attention, I am someone who chooses focus over noise, I am someone who invests in deep work, you'll start living into it. And once focus becomes part of who you are, it stops being a fight. It becomes freedom. The takeaway. So remember this, focus isn't just about what you do with your time. It's about who you are with your attention. Every moment you resist distraction is proof of your strength. Every moment you focus is a vote for your future self. And every identity shift you make turns self-control from a struggle into a way of life. Distraction may be everywhere, but if your identity is I am unshakable, then no algorithm, no app, no feed can take your focus away. We've reached the end, but really, tiens, this is just the beginning. Because distraction isn't going away. The notifications will keep buzzing, the feeds will keep scrolling, the noise will only get louder. But here's the truth. Distraction steals your future, focus builds it, pleasure versus power. Instant gratification gives you comfort, but focus gives you control. And in the digital age, control over your attention is control over your life. The strongest people aren't the ones who consume the most, they're the ones who can resist. They're the ones who can wait. They're the ones who can go deep while everyone else stays shallow. Focus as freedom. That's why focus is more than productivity. It's freedom. Freedom from being a slave to your phone. Freedom from the constant pull of noise. Freedom to choose where your energy goes and who you become because of it. And here's the line I want you to remember. In the digital age, focus isn't just an advantage, it's a superpower. The final choice. So the choice is yours. You can keep living scattered, drained, and distracted, or you can train your mind to be sharp, unshakable, and focused. If you want the future most people never reach, you have to ignore the noise most people never escape. The call to action. And if you're ready to build that future, if you're ready to train discipline, resilience, and unstoppable focus, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Unbreakable Mind. This channel is where we build the mindset that wins long-term. Together, we don't just resist distraction, we master focus. So hit that button, join the community, and let's keep building unbreakable minds in a distracted world.